Hi friends, today I'll be starting a new topic called as cash flow statements. Is this clear to all of you? I'll be starting a new topic called as cash flow statements. Okay, see, we have completed the corporate accounting part, particularly if you look at the financial statements of company that we have done, financial statements of company, which is comprising of statement of profit and loss account. So we have seen that financial statements financial statements of companies, we have seen that is consisting of statement of P&L. This we have learned. Then statement of balance sheet, statement of balance sheet, notes to accounts, and then comes the last one, cash flow statement. Cash flow statements. I think we have seen statement of P&L account is to know the net result. We have learned that. And balance sheet is called as position statement. Position statement. This also we have seen in company final account. When coming to notes to account, it is explanatory. It is an explanatory. Like the classification of share capital or the reserves and surplus, etc., consisting of in detailed information we can get. So the next one is cash flow statement. And generally, you know that P&L account and balance sheet statements are prepared by following accrual basis. In order to report to the user about summarized statement of cash receipts and cash payments, cash flow statements are to be prepared. In order to report to the user about summarized statements of cash receipts and cash payments, cash flow statements are to be prepared. If you look at the definition part of the accounting, it has been said accounting is the art of recording, classifying and summarizing transactions for meaningful interpretation of results. So meaningful interpretation of results. Results means we talk about profit or loss. So how? You know, by recording, thus recording, journalizing, classifying, posting, ledger, summarizing. It can be profit and loss account, income and expenditure, and balance sheet. Or means way to achieve the goal and of meaningful interpretation of the results. Meaningful interpretation, that is the main objective of accounting. Analyzing, interpreting and communicating the result. Well, accounting is the art of recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting the result and communicating, interpreting and communicating the result thereof. To whom you need to communicate? To the users of this accounting information. Because I told you accounting is nothing but the word accounting has come from accountability. Somebody's money is with you, you are accountable to them, you are answerable to them. Because you see the difference between the corporate entities and non-corporate entities, that in case of non-corporate entities, the person who invests generally may manage the business. But in case of corporate entities, the investors are scattered at various places. You can call them as a shareholders, because their money is being invested into the business. So, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing and interpreting the result. And that interpreting has to be meaningful. So, for an effective interpretation is nothing but analysis. Several financial and statistical tools are used. Such tools for analyzing financial statements are, it is called as EPS, earning per share, cash flow statement, in short word we can abbreviation CFS we can use, fund flow statement, ratios, trend analysis, value added statement, such as economic value added statements and other multivariate models. But the focus is on today's class is about cash flow statements. So cash flow statement is one of the tools for analyzing the financial statements. The cash flow statement seeks to explain reasons for change in cash and its equivalents in an accounting period. I repeat once again, cash flow statement is one of the tools for analyzing the financial statements. The cash flow statement seeks to explain reasons for change in cash and its equivalents in an accounting period. And this statement is to be prepared in accordance with Accounting Standard 3, and this is a mandatory statement to be included as a part of the financial statements. Okay, so when you look at this, it's a simple logic. Even if you take your own personal example, suppose I got 10,000 bank balance, say 10,000 cash balance and 1 lakh bank balance. At the end of the month, I've left out with 20,000 rupees finally, together cash in hand plus cash in bank. Surprisingly, suddenly I'll be looking at, array, what happened? 1 lakh 10,000 has become 20. I spent something like 90,000. So generally, the curiosity will be there what we have done. Because for us, the source is maybe if you take my example, for me the source can be my salary is a source. Or some people, you may be having 2 or 3 sources, like having fixed deposit, and on that you may be getting the interest, etc. See, then what happened? We start recording it. What are our inflows? What is coming into our hand? What is the receipts which you are receiving? And what are outflows? The payments. To have a clarity of thought, how it goes, how it is coming in, how it goes, how we are receiving, how we are spending. This is to have a clarity. This is when we look at our few transactions, we give such importance when somebody's money is with us, and the people who are at the helm of the affairs, the people who are managing the affairs of the company are accountable. So that is why which statement has become significant, cash flow statement has become significant. If you look at 1956 Companies Act, cash flow statement was not mandatory in the beginning. People used to prepare financial statements, and for your surprise, if you see, even we don't have any format for P&L account. Maybe in some cases they have to go for functional wise classification. Now we are seeing head of classification. The nature or head of expenses, that classification we are going. Once upon a time, if at all, they used to go for functional wise classification. Management expenses or administrative expenses, selling and distribution expenses. Like that they used to go. So over a period of time, I think the Companies Act main objective, if you look at it, the disclosure is the key. There should be transparency. The whole idea behind this is that whatever the activities that are taking place is to be disclosed in a proper manner. And that is why I say a company's balance sheet, I can say, and statement of profit and loss account cannot provide a detailed information in respect of inflow and outflow of cash during a particular accounting period. Why? Because, why? As I told you in the beginning, P&L account as per Companies Act, if you see, the financial statements have to be prepared by following accrual basis. You know the meaning of accrual? The income earned, expenditure incurred. Earned means received or receivable, or received and receivable. Incurred, paid or payable, paid and payable. We have learned right from the beginning, right? So therefore, a statement of cash flow provides vital information about the cash flows of an entity during a particular accounting period. The reason is why you need to have the information of cash flows. In order for a company to survive, the ability to make profits may not be enough. Because you got the ability, you got good profit. That is not only enough. You also need to have company to generate sufficient cash for its survival. See, recent COVID effect we see. The Reserve Bank of India is trying to pump the cash circulation. The amount is being blocked. Very difficult. Very difficult. Say for example, recent past. So there is a moratorium has been announced by RBI. Initially it was for 3 months, later it was for 6 months. In these cases, you can see one thing. The interest on loans and advances given by the bank is income for them. Now, if you follow accrual basis, what happened? The interest earned appears because for them, we'll be discussing later on operating activities, etc. It's a major source of income, revenue generation. That they will create a statement of P&L account, their P&L account. Then what happened? If you look at the cash, because that they feel that the income has been earned without receiving it. But in reality, they are unable to get the inflows because extension of period. But if you look at it, that income has to be recognized, you know. I think those who have learned bit of bank accounts, you know, non-performing asset. They said, what is non-performing? Those who are good, but don't panic. Just I am trying to tell you how it, the significance I am trying to explain. So they say, don't worry, even if you don't pay the interest for 3 months or 6 months, we won't be treating you as a non-performing assets. A non-performing asset is a label, it's a doubtful later on. It may lead to loss of asset also. I think these things we'll be learning in Group 2 bank accounts. So that is why I'm saying it is also important for the company to generate sufficient cash for its survival. So therefore, company must pay great attention to liquidity as well as profitability. Two things are important. The net result is about profitability, but at the same time, which is important, liquidity is also important if they are to succeed. I'll give a small example. Company performance is good, you got good profit. So when profits are good, then shareholders are expecting better dividend. Employees are expecting hike in pay. But when it comes to the announcement, I think the dividend declared by the company, based upon the performance, is not up to the expectations of the shareholders, or the hike is not as expected by employees of an organization where they are working, the company employees. The reason is that they will be asking you, you got very good profit, why you are not paying dividend? Shareholders will be asking. You can pay more dividend. Profitability is good, company is doing well, then what is your problem in giving the dividend? Point number two. Employees will be asking, what about the hike? Why you are not going for appraisal? Creditors will be asking, suppliers will be asking, why there is a delay in payment? Why you are deferring the payment? Why you are postponing the payment? The problem is that liquidity problem. So to know the liquidity analysis about inflows and outflows, I think this cash flow statement is important. So therefore, if they want to succeed, which is important, company must pay a great attention to liquidity as well as profitability if they want to succeed. Negative cash flows for more than one accounting period is a strong sign of potential problem that can affect company's operations as well as financing and investing activities. We'll be discussing about what is operating activities, what is financing activities, what is investing activities in today's class. I said negative cash flows. Negative cash flows is nothing but the payments are more than your receipts. It leads to negative. So there is a danger bells are ringing. I think you need to pay attention. You are at alarming level. If it is more than 1 year, something is not good because it may affect your solvency of your business. Therefore, cash flow statement is extremely useful for a proper financial planning and control. So therefore, cash flow statement is very important for proper financial planning and control. This is the one of the reason why we may have to go for cash flow statement. So then basically if you look at it, the question that comes to your mind, like as I told you, if you put it as a potential investor, they want to know where did cash comes from. Other management also know they need for analyzing top management what purpose cash has been used, and of course the least importance has to be given that what was the change in the cash balance. Now once if you get from where cash comes from, where cash has been used, I think obviously you'll be getting the balance. I think this is the reason why we'll be learning cash flow statement. And if you look at it, simple terms like cash flow statement. If you look at the simple terms, what is cash flow statement? It is a summarized cash book. I repeat once again, it is a summarized cash book where the receipts and payments are grouped on the basis of activity, their nature, for effective understanding. I repeat once again, cash flow statement in simple terms is a summarized cash book. So I can write this, I think, for you to understand it. So let me say cash flow statement in simple terms is a summarized cash book. Summarized cash book wherein the receipts and payments are grouped on the basis of activity. On the basis of activity, or we can say nature, for effective understanding. Generally, the activities, if you look at it, we discuss later. I will be also giving you printed this thing. I will be explaining. So basically, when we look at our activities, we can say it also can be called as classification of cash flows. If you look into it, we can say operating activities, then investing activities, and third one is financing activities. Operating activities, investing activities, financing activities. In operating activities, we will be having two things: inflows and outflows. So is the case of investing activities. We will be having inflows and outflows. Financing activity also will be having inflows, receipt, outflows, payment. Outflows. In simple, what is operating activities? It's a principal activity of enterprise is called as operating. We'll take some examples later on. But if you look at the definition part of it, cash flow from is there nothing but operating activities are nothing but cash flows from principal activities. Cash flows can be as I said, it can be inflow or outflow. Outflow. Principal activities. And what is investing activities? Cash flow relating to is nothing but deployment of resources and income from investment. Simple words, that is investing in different shares, securities, purchase of long-term assets, and that is can be called as investing activities. Financing activities, basically it's a relating to capital structure. Say for example, raising the capital in different ways, such as issuing shares, debentures, payment of dividend, payment of interest on debentures, can be taken as financing activities. And apart from this inflows, outflows, we will be also having one more important this thing. This is, as I told you, a classification of cash flows, as I told you, and then we will be also having a term called as cash and cash equivalent. I think I need not tell you much about it. You have learned in financial statements of company. Cash means cash in hand, cash at bank. Cash equivalents can be short-term investments, highly liquid investment, which are readily convertible. That is maturity around 3 months. Subject to insignificant risk, can be called as cash equivalents. We discuss, I will be giving example in today's class. Briefly I am explaining. So the cash and cash equivalents, opening balance plus inflows of operating activities plus inflows of investing activities plus inflows of financing activities minus outflows of operating activities minus outflows of investing activities minus outflow of financing activities, nothing but closing cash and cash equivalent. I repeat once again, the cash flow statement is consisting of, in a simple words, as I told you, from cash book point of view, the opening balance of cash and cash equivalents, inflows of operating, investing, financing activities, outflow of operating, investing, financing activities, then closing cash balance. This is what summary of cash book. Because cash book is a day book, no? In simple words, like you are learned in not-for-profit making organization. Say you have prepared receipts and payments account. Receipts and payments account we have learned a summary of cash book. Summary means we will be taking whatever during the year, what are the various inflows relating to operating activities, what are various inflows relating to investing and financing activity. So it's the case of what are outflows during the year we will be taking. That is what is being called a summary of cash book. So let me give you a simple example to understand the meaning of this one. Okay, let me take one example here to tell you. Let me take one example. Okay, so here you know that cash book, how you write, they're having a receipt here and amount in rupees, then we are having payment amount in rupees. Let me begin to balance brought down, that is opening cash balance, say 40 rupees. Then to credit sales collection, that is amount collected from debtors, say 160. Then buy creditors for purchases is nothing but payment made to creditors, 120. You also got some expenses, 30. Okay. Receipt through sale of assets, say 35. And you also got to income from investment, say 15. Then let me take purchase of assets, say 120. Okay. Then you issued shares, so to share application money received. During the year you received share application money, say 40. Two debentures, you have issued debentures during the year, say 20. Then during the year you cleared term loans, you paid term loans, you know, term loans periodic payment you have to pay, say 17 rupees. By interest on borrowings, interest on borrowing, say 8 rupees. By dividend, 5. Then you look at the total, my dear friends, 200, 235, 250, 290. Let me start again. 200, 250, 290. Okay, I'm not taking opening balance. Let me write one thing. Let me take, there is also some cash sales. Okay, let me put it this as 5. Cash sales as 40. Okay. So cash is 40. 45, 200, 205, 255, 295 plus 20 is coming to 315. So 315 obviously on the credit side also. I think if you look at it, 315, I'm writing by balance carried out. 315, you take calculator, 120 plus 30, 150, 270, 270 plus 25, 295, 300. I think you'll be having a closing balance of 15 rupees. Now this is summary of cash book, no? And this is, as I told you, cash flow statement. Cash flow statement, simple terms, is a summarized cash book where receipts and payments are grouped on the basis of activity. So I think summary of cash book, that's fine. Now he's saying that wherein summarized cash book wherein receipts and payments are grouped on the basis of activity. Now here if you look at it, if you look into it, okay, now this one, I told you activities are three types. No, here you can see operating activities, investing activities, as I told you, financing activity. So receipts and payments has to be classified into three categories. Now this can be called as operating activities. What is operating activities? Principal activities. What is principal activities of a trader? He purchases goods, he sells goods. Generally, we are not taking cash purchase. Generally, whenever you as a trader in business, generally they prefer to go for purchase of goods on credit. Sales can be cash sales and collection. Maybe sometimes you may have cash purchase, then take it. Okay. Then expenses for running the business. So, if you look into it, the receipts of these two are 160 plus 40, coming to how much? 200. 200 minus 150. What is it, positive or negative? So I can say positive. This is 50. This 50 is a positive inflow from which activity? So 160 plus 40, how much? 200. 120 plus 30, how much? 150. So 200 minus 150, how much you are getting? 50. So here, this I can write net effect of each block. Here I am having the block into three categories. What are those three categories? Tell me. Operating activity. Then I should go for investing activity. Sale of asset, income from investment, purchase of asset. When you are having money, you buy asset, and when you buy asset, on that you will be getting some investment, and if investment is not required, you may be selling it. So I think these can be called as investing activities. This can be called as investing activities. Look at it now. 35 plus 15, how much it is coming? 15. It is coming to how much? 120. Now left hand side are inflows, right hand side are outflows. Inflow 50, outflow 120. So we are having negative, no? Negative, I am putting it in brackets. Here I am writing negative flow from which activity? Investing activity. You may get positive or negative. Then I think the last one, I told you, last one, financing activity is nothing but raising capital or issuing shares or debentures and payment of interest on borrowings or redemption or repayment of loan taken, dividend. They are called as financing activities. These are called as financing activities. Now look at this, 40 plus 20 coming to how much? 60. Here 17 plus 8, 25 plus 5, 30. Now 60 minus 30, inflows are more, no? So I can say positive flow, positive inflow. So this can be from financing activity. Financing activity. Now, let us look at, I told you, cash and cash equivalents also plays a significant role. This is, I can put it here like change in cash and cash equivalent. This can be called as change. Change in cash and cash equivalent. Now, I have already explained you operating activities, investing activities, financing activities in a cash flow. But now, to understand it better, I have made into three blocks. The first block is called as operating activity, positive you are getting, investing activity, negative outflow, and whereas positive inflow for which block, my dear friends? Financing activity. Now, if you look at it, analysis. Analysis of change in cash and cash equivalent. If you look into it, we got, if you look at it, opening balance, we have seen already 5 rupees. Closing balance, we got 15. This is closing balance, is 15. If you see, 5 has become 15. It means there is an increase in cash flow during the particular period. Can be a month or year. Generally, financial statements will be 1 year only. For example, I have taken, there is an increase in cash flow by 10. How that increase in cash flow is possible? We can see that the net effect of these three blocks. So we are getting 50 from operating cash flows. You already seen, no? Operating cash flows, we got how much? 50. And then investing, negative we are getting 70 negative from investing cash flows, and then 30 from financing cash flows. Now you can see net effect is 50 minus 70 minus 20 you are getting, minus 20 plus 30, the positive value of 10, no? This 10 increase because of these activities. What is that? Operating cash flows, investing cash flows, financing. The 10 rupees increase in cash balance because of cash flow from operating, investing and financing. So you are having clarity why there is a increase of cash flows. Why there is an increase of cash flows is because of operating cash flows, investing cash flows, financing. So I think they will be looking into it. I think this year investing cash flows are outflows are more than that. You will be looking into it, why it has happened. I think detailed analysis is possible through cash flow. Got it? I think this is the prime reason why you need to go for cash flow statement. So if you look at it, whatever we have learned so far is, if you look into it, the components of cash flow statement, if you look into in a accounting cycle format, cash and cash equivalent, then operating activities. My dear friend, this operating activities, inflow or outflow, can be ascertained through two methods that we'll be learning when we start doing the problem. There is called as a direct method or indirect method. You can follow any one of the method to find out operating activities. So cash and cash equivalents, then operating activity, we are having direct or indirect. Then we'll be having investing activity. Then after that I told you next one is financing activity. So again cash and cash equivalent. So this is nothing but component of cash flow statement. What is it I said? I said cash and cash equivalent. Operating activity, direct method or indirect method. Then investing activity. Then comes financing activity. Okay, then comes financing activity. So the main reason why we are preparing cash flow statement has been given. But we see today's class now. Let me orally explain few points. What is the significance that has been attached? Just a minute. Now, what is significance of cash flow statement? That let us see. Whatever we have so far discussed in a curtailed manner. While positive net assets and profits are important for a business, such assets or profits are not relevant if such assets are liquid or profits are unrealized. I told you already in the beginning. Now, let me give you an example to this. Entity A and entity B are of the same size. There are two entities, business entities. One entity name is A, the other entity name is B. In the same business with same level of turnover, and profits. Entity A makes only cash sales and incurs expenses on credit basis. There is no credit sales. Receipt of by sale of goods is cash, but expenses on credit basis, I think you can easily say the profit that is being realized would be in the form of cash. So therefore, they can go for expansion and growth. The profits realized would be in the form of cash, which can be used for expansion of the business and growth of the business. Now let me take the example of B now. Whereas entity B, say for example, makes credit sales and incurs expenses on cash and credit basis. They are selling on goods on credit basis, but expenses on cash and credit basis. Then obviously the profits would be primarily be locked in the form of debtors because your entire sales is on the basis of credit nature. So therefore, the entity B cannot have the enough cash which cannot be used for immediate expansion or distribution of business. So therefore we can say cash flow statement communicates the extent of cash generated from the business operations and its utilization. This is what I told you. So cash flow statement will give you a clarity of the extent of cash generated from business operations and its utilization, how it has been generated. Also, with increased use of fair value concept in preparation of balance sheet and P&L, the statements reflect the value of assets and liabilities, income and expenditure of an entity which are fairly subjective. So therefore, emphasis has been placed by users on cash flow statements since they present real and actual movement of cash. Okay, so now let me take you whatever I've explained. I've picked up a few points I want to display to you. We already had a discussion. Wherever further discussion is needed may be useful. So whatever so far we have discussed has been given like a notes to you. Whenever you want, you can refer to that rather than copying down and me dictating that the notes, right? Now let me take this meaning of cash flow statement. So far whatever we have discussed has been clearly given here. The meaning of cash flow statement, if you look at it, cash flow statement means a statement of changes. Cash flow statement means a statement of changes in cash and cash equivalents during a particular accounting period. It shows net inflows from operating activities. Net inflows from operating activities, I've told you already, these are net inflows in this case. What are net inflows? 50 operating, investing negative 70, financing 30. So I think it shows net cash flows from operating activities, net cash flows from investing activities, net cash flows from financing activities, net change in cash and cash equivalent. This also has been given here. Net changes in cash and cash equivalents. What is change in cash and cash equivalents? Increase. This increases compared with these three activities changes. Is this clear? This example also I have given you already. Therefore, notes if you look at it. Cash flow statement is not a substitute for income statement because it does not disclose the calculation of profit or loss. So, cash flow statement is an addition to income statement, but it is not a substitute for income statement. Cash flow statement is a not substitute for position statement because it does not disclose total financial position, that is total equity, non-current liabilities, non-current assets and current assets. Okay, cash flow statement is generally historical in nature because after you spend, you record. Without spending, you can't record. So because it is prepared on the basis of historical financial statement. I think the objectives have already explained you, but briefly let us see. The objectives of cash flow statements are to ascertain net cash flows from operating, investing and financing activities of an enterprise. To ascertain the net change in cash and cash equivalents. This also I have told you. Okay, then look at the uses or advantages of cash flow statement. The various uses of cash flow statements are as follows. Facilitate to ascertain the net cash flows. This already I have explained you. Operating, investing, financing, and facilitates to evaluate cash financial performance, like providing information of net flows from operating and also from investing and financing activities, and cash management, which is very important. As I told you, sometimes you'll be having cash crunch, shortage of cash. You don't have liquidity. Generally, I'll tell you, I got property, but if I don't have cash in hand, it's very difficult. I'll give you a small example. One of my colleague is a huge landlord. He was also faculty. One day he was telling me an example. Not example actually. What has happened to him really? is having the fixed assets. He kept only um, whatever the minimum money that is needed. So that amount was with him, and remaining thing has been blocked, like in shares, bonds. So whatever the money that is needed, because he's having also agriculture farms. See, basically from farm output, vegetables, milk, everything he used to get. Only for meeting his domestic expenses, he used to hardly maintain cash. So one day, one night, midnight, I think his son got some health issues. So immediately he has to be admitted into hospital. During that time, no credit cards, no debit cards, nothing. So when he has taken to a hospital, the doctors have said that come on, you have to admit him to hospital. So you pay the amount for like a deposit for admitting. Now, as a rich person doesn't have cash, the amount has been blocked. The amount has been blocked. So what happens? Suddenly there is a shortage of cash. It's not that he is having, that has been held up somewhere. He also used to do a bit of the rotation of the money by giving like financing activity, giving the loan, lending the money, etc. And from that time onwards, he was so angry. Finally, he was able to get some through his friends, because he's having the money, but he doesn't have in time. He doesn't have the money. So then he started. No, I need to keep this much money. Of course, nowadays you are having debit card. It's a different issue. I'm telling you. Sometimes cash shortage is also very difficult. Very it plays a significant role, and then facilitates the comparison. Comparative study of opening performance of different enterprises, because it eliminates the effects of using different accounting treatment for the same transaction and event. This I have already explained you. Entity and A and B, and capital budgeting. We'll be learning that later on in FM. Capital structure decisions. It facilitates capital structure. Capital budgeting means like investing, where you need to invest, where you want to invest, what are your the investment capabilities, and what are your inflows, what are your outflows. I think that we'll be learning later on. Facilitates capital structure, like financing activities. How much how much amount I need. For example, you learn redemption of preference shares. You decide to go for redemption of preference shares. You got enough divisible profits, but you don't have cash. So in such case, to make a payment to preference shareholders, sometimes you may need to go for issue of shares, or you got enough reserve. Instead of going for issue the capital redemption reserve, divisible profits that can be converted into CRR, but you don't have cash, you may go for issue of debentures. Similarly, facilities planning. The projected cash flow statement enables the management to plan future investment, operating financial activities such as repayment of long-term loans, interest thereon, modernization or expansion of plant, payment of cash, dividend, etc. Because for going for expansion of the business, or for repayment of long-term loans, we have seen a couple of things like redemption of debentures by buying the debentures for, as far as your group 1 topic is concerned, going for purchase of your own debentures when you got surplus cash. You can cancel that. Long-term loans can be cleared by having, or sometimes you've seen in group 2 buyback of shares. And also you want to go for modernization or expansion of business. For that you need cash, and also for payment of cash dividend. I think this is planning is important. Answer to some of the important financial questions. How was it possible to distribute? How was it possible to distribute dividend in excess of current earnings, or in the presence of a net loss for the period? See, I think distribution of dividend when you are having net loss, you got a net loss, but you may be having cash position, because expenses might have been due, because expenses due, or because of Non-cash expenses like providing depreciation, loss on sale of assets may result in net loss. So I think that is the question. Why has the cash decreased although net income for the period has gone up? Why cash decreased? What is the reason for that? Why has the cash increased even though there has been a net loss? What happened? I will explain to you. What happened to the proceeds of the sale of land and equipment? Proceeds mean the money that has been received. Why did the firm resort to long-term borrowings in spite of large profits? I have given an example. You got a profit. The profit is due to credit, identifying the credit sales as an income, like credit sales you take as an income, or by following accrual concept. Why did the firm issue new equity or preference shares? This reason we have discussed redemption of preference shares. How was the retirement of long-term debts or redemption of redeemable preference shares accomplished? Because you need money, no? I think these are the things which will address, cash flow statement will address. Now limitation, if you look into it, ignores non-cash transactions. The major limitations. It ignores non-cash transactions. In other words, it does not take into consideration those transactions which do not affect the cash. For example, issue of shares against the purchase of fixed asset, stock in trade, conversion of debentures into shares. Like when you are converting, simple words, issue of shares for consideration other than cash, and conversion of debentures into shares, where there is no cash involvement. Secondary data. It is a secondary data based statement which merely rearranges the primary data already appearing in other statement, income statement and balance sheet. Okay. It is a secondary data based statement because primary data is income statement and balance sheet. I have already told you about historical statement. And of course, it ignores the fundamental accounting assumption accrual because we follow which basis? Cash basis. So what is the meaning of cash flows? Cash flows are inflows and outflows of cash and cash equivalents. This I already explained to you. Cash inflows arises when the net effect of transaction increase in the amount of cash or cash equivalents. Meaning of cash outflows. Cash outflow arises when net effect of transactions to decrease the amount of cash or cash equivalents. If there is an increase in receipts, inflow. If it decrease in payment, outflow. Tell me, increase in receipt, inflow. Decrease in receipt is nothing but payment, outflow. Examples of cash inflows: cash sale of goods, cash received from trade debtors, cash received from commission and royalty, sale of fixed assets for cash, sale of investment, loans and advances, repayment received whether short term or long term, cash purchase of goods, cash paid to trade creditors, operating expenses paid like salaries, wages, administration and selling expenses. Here you should understand that there is no difference between direct and indirect expenses. All expenses will be taken into consideration which are essential for running of the business. Income tax paid, cash purchase of fixed assets, cash purchase of investment whether short term or long term. Only briefly I am giving an idea. Cash received from debtors sometimes you won't be giving, then you have to prepare trade debtors account that you have learned in single entry. Cash paid to trade creditors, we may need to prepare creditors account to find out what is the cash that has been paid to creditors. Sale of fixed assets for cash is the same case. Sometimes you have to open asset account. Sale of investment, to find out you need to open investment account. You know, current and non-current, more than 1 year non-current, within 1 year current. Cash purchase of fixed asset, cash purchase of investment, sometimes you need to open the accounts. Depending upon the information, we need to find out the information through opening of ledger accounts. Income received on investment, whether current or non-current, issue of equity shares for cash, issue of preference shares for cash, issue of debentures for cash, loans taken. Few examples has been given. Loans and advances, whether short term or long term, buyback of equity shares for cash, redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures, loans repaid, interest on debentures, final dividend on equity shares paid, dividend on preference shares paid, interim dividend on equity shares paid. I think all these inflows and outflows, the important thing is we will be learning later on is to be categorized into 3 activities. These are 11 examples has been given on inflows, outflows, has to be categorized into cash from operating, cash from investing activities, cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, cash flow from financing activities. Now, we have seen already about those few examples. Now, let us look at cash and cash equivalents. Cash comprises cash on hand and demand deposits with banks. Demand deposit means whenever you want, like fixed deposit, a savings bank account, etc. can be taken as current account. Demand deposit. Examples we have seen, demand deposits in bank accounts we'll be learning. So cash in hand, cash at bank is an example you can take. Cash equivalent are short-term, highly liquid investment that are readily convertible into known amounts of cash and which are subject to an insignificant risk. Significant risk? Say, I'll give a small example for this. You purchase the shares, preference shares in a company, and after buying those shares, within few months, they are going for redemption of preference shares. I think that can be taken as cash and cash equivalent because within short span of time you may get the money, but there is insignificant risk. That is what has been mentioned. It has been mentioned that you cannot treat the what is it called as cash collecting from by redemption of preference shares is having which risk, my dear friends? Insignificant risk. So significant risk. So therefore we cannot treat as a cash equivalent. I repeat once again. Preference shares of a company purchased shortly before redemption date will be included cash equivalents, provided there is a insignificant risk of failure of the company in repaying the amount on the date of maturity. But investment in shares normally not taken as cash equivalent because of uncertainties. That is the meaning of uncertainty. So here, that is why we won't be considering the preference shares, even though which are going to make sure, which are going to be, you are going to get back the money very short span of time. Okay, then next, the cash equivalent purpose is to help for the purpose of meeting short-term cash commitments rather than for investment or other purposes. 2 conditions for investment qualify as a cash equivalent. It must be readily convertible to a known amount of cash. It must be subject to an insignificant risk of change in value. Therefore, an investment normally qualifies as a cash equivalent only when it has a short maturity of say 3 months or less from the date of acquisition. Okay. Now, examples here we can say treasury bills, commercial papers, commercial bills, call money, certificate of deposit, etc. Now let us look at today. Transaction not considered as cash flows. Transaction which represent movements between items of cash or cash equivalents are not considered as cash flows. These components are part of the cash management of an enterprise rather than part of its operating, investing, financing activities. Let me give you an example for this here. Cash deposited into bank. Cash deposited into bank. And you also can take one more example. Cash withdrawn from bank. So cash deposited into bank, cash withdrawn from. Transaction which represent movement between items or cash equivalents. So what happened? Cash is going, the cash in hand is being deposited. So it is not considered cash flow. Cash withdrawn from bank is coming into cash. So which is not changing? Cash or cash equivalents are not being affected. It is only movement for a cash management of an enterprise rather than a part of operating or investing of activity. Okay. And similarly, you also given one more example, purchase of short-term securities which can be converted within 3 months, or sale of short-term investment, that also can be given an example of transaction not considered as cash flows. Non-cash transaction. Non-cash transactions are those transactions which do not involve cash. I think issue of equity shares or debentures against purchase of an asset. You learned already. This is just since to have a discussion I am taking up. I think you all are aware of it. Asset to equity share capital debentures. This is nothing but purchase of asset for consideration other than cash by issuing shares or debentures. Issue of equity shares for conversion of convertible debentures. Convertible debentures into equity share capital, there is no cash involvement. Depreciation, you know that there is no cash involvement. Amortization is a word which we use for writing off intangible asset. P&L account intangible assets like goodwill, trademark, copyright. Write off an old fixed tangible asset. It has become, we use the word scrap, it can't be used. P&L account data to fixed tangible asset. Declaration of final dividend, proposed dividend to dividend payable. I think in these cases, there is no cash involvement. So non-cash transactions are ignored while preparing cash flow statement because of these do not involve cash. Okay. Then today we have seen already the operating activities, meaning we have seen. Let us see the examples. Examples of operating activities. Inflows of operating. Cash sales of goods, cash received from trade debtors, cash received from trading, commission and royalty. Cash purchase of goods, cash paid to trade creditors, operating expenses, example, salaries, wages and administrative expenses. Income tax related to operating activities only if it is paid. Now, in case of financial enterprise, the following activities are classified as operating activities since they relate to the main revenue producing activity. Purchase and sale of shares. If it is a financing enterprise, operating activities include sale of shares and purchase of shares and sale of debentures, purchase of debentures. Dividend received on shares. For them it is operating activities because the financial enterprise. Interest received on debentures. Loans and advances granted. By granting loans and advances, it's a payment, no? It comes under operating activity. Interest received on loans and advances. It's a Operating activity inflow. This is operating activity outflow. This is operating activity inflow. This is operating activity inflow. This is purchase is outflow, sale is inflow. This is for what? Financial enterprises. So for trading entities, these are the things. Whatever you are having here is for non-financing activities, non-investing or financing activities. For financing people, this can be taken as operating activities, and the same things may become investing activities for whom? Non-financial enterprise. The same things can be taken as which were not operating, which will become financing activities. But for financial activities, that becomes operating activities. Are you following what I am saying? For financial enterprises, this is operating activities. 1 to 5. If it is non-financial enterprise, this will become investing activities. Okay. Then, investing activities example, let us see. Investing activities are the acquisition and disposal of long-term assets and other investments not included in cash equivalents. What are those examples we are having? Cash sale of fixed assets, cash sale of investment whether current or non-current, loans and advances, repayment received, income received on investment current or non, fixed assets purchase, investment purchase, short term or long term, loans and advances granted means loan given, brokerage paid on purchase of investment. This can be taken as examples of investing activities. Now last one is financing activities, or activities that result in changes in the size and composition of the owner's capital, including preference share capital in the case of a company, and borrowings whether short term or long term. Cash inflows, issue of equity shares for cash, issue of preference shares for cash, issue of debentures for cash, buyback of equity shares for cash, redemption of preference shares for cash, redemption of debentures for cash. I think these are the examples of financing activities. Okay, I think if you are having any doubt, you can pause this and you can copy down, or whenever you want to have a look into it, you can look into it. Okay, now so far we have covered the examples of investing activities, operating, financing activities and investing activities. These are all the things we have completed. Now to sum up this today's discussion, what I am doing is I am giving some here few more points we are having. Sorry, I have not seen. Loans taken whether short term or long term, interest received on calls in arrears whether short term or long term, interest you lend company accounts, calls in arrears, this delay in payment, interest received on calls in arrears can be taken as which activity? Financing activity. Loans repaid, interest on debentures and loans paid, final dividend on equity, dividend on preference shares, interim dividend, brokerage, underwriting commission, they all comes under the category of financing activities. Okay, now I'm giving one illustration. There are totally 37 items I have given. Shall I give as a homework to you, all of you? You have to classify the following activities: operating, investing, financing, D, cash or cash equivalents. If you got any doubt, you leave it. This I will be taking up in the next class. Is this clear? How many points we are having here? 37. This 37, whatever the lecture today you have attended, I think through that you should be able to do it. Otherwise, I'll be explaining this tomorrow. Okay, my dear friends, I think tomorrow you take a notepad, you take a pen, because I may again have to copy. If it is possible, I will be doing it. Otherwise, you already note down these things, or you put it point number 1. Don't write purchase of machinery. I think you'll be able to understand it, or you can copy down this entire problem. Okay, and you should be able to answer that in the next class. Purchase of machinery. Okay, so you should be able to answer. Say for example, purchase of machinery is an investing activity. Issue of equity share capital, like that you should say. Financing activity. Cash sales, tell me, operating activity, like that you should write. Interest on short term borrowings, financing activity. Sale of machinery, which activity? Investing activity, like that you should be able to find out. And after that, tomorrow's class, I'll be taking to how to prepare a cash flow statement. I've told you, for operating activities we are having two methods, direct and indirect. For investing, financing, you don't have any method, only one method. Only for operating, to find out the inflows, the net effect of inflows, net effect of cash flows of operating equity, we can either go for direct method or indirect method. I think these 37 points, if we can able to answer, I think it's clear to you. Or else, if possible, I will try to copy paste this in the next class also. Okay, if possible, I'll do it. You try, I think you can try this. If you got any doubt, you can leave it. Okay, my dear friends, I think you got some clarity on this topic. We continue our discussion tomorrow. We'll be learning about the format to be followed. We'll be learning the format to be followed for cash flow statement, how to prepare cash flow statement, and if possible, 1 or 2 problems we will work out. I think in 3 or 4 classes, we shall be able to finish off this chapter. Right? Thank you very much. God bless you all.